That's a bad repair.
It's
The fraudulent, the paperwork says replace it. That's a repair. Consumers getting screwed if they don't know what the difference is.
Which is more crooked? The car, the repairer, or the insurer?
It's a love fest.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Airing of Grievances. My name is Eric Reamer. That's Robert Grieve. And as always, it's a privilege to spend a little bit of time with you today. If you're watching this during the premiere, that's Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. here in the Mountain Standard Time Zone, then you can chat with us live during that premiere. And we always
And
love...
with the other rock stars that are on there.
Yeah.
Join the crowd. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, a lot of really cool rock stars going on in the chat. So, with that being the case, if this is your first time here, we say welcome. We appreciate it. If you like what you see, go ahead and give the thumbs up. That tells the YouTube algorithm that this is something worth sharing with other people.
Just do it now, please. Just do it now.
That's good suggestion. And secondarily, of course, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notify bell. That will let you know that we're doing something cool here every single Saturday morning. All right, so with that, Rob, happy Saturday to you.
My dear friends, happy Saturday to you as well.
We have been talking for a little while about the topic of today's conversation. You and I have history. I've been working with Rob for 14 years. I believe it was 2009 when we started.
See how gray my hair is?
Yeah, well, you know. What's hair? And I think it's safe to say that you and I have put in thousands of hours in conversations about all kinds of things related to this industry and life in general. But today I had to say something to you, and I told your wife as well, that sometimes, even after all those thousands of hours and those 14 years, I am completely gobsmacked by the stuff that comes out of your mouth. And today's story is one of those. I hope you...
It's really hard to believe.
I can't believe that the story is what it is, and we're going to get to it, I promise. Stay to the end, because you're just not going to believe it. There's layer after layer after layer of, oh no, they didn't. And I don't know what else to say except let's begin our journey with the headline out of Repair Driven News. And, super kudos to Michelle Thompson for the work that she did on an article. We're not going to read you the article. We're not even going to go the direction of the article, but we're going to take the headline and springboard off of it.
So let's do it.
All right. Headline from Repair Driven News.
Drum roll, please.
Fraudulent auto insurance claims highlight the need for in-person inspections. It's about fraud.
And it's about in-person inspections.
And what happens when both happen or don't happen and everything jumps off the rails? All right. Talk to us.
All right. So there is fraud everywhere in every business. Yeah, industry, I should say. Not in every business, but in every industry.
Sure.
And fraud, let's just call it lying for the sake of making money or misleading somebody or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
But you're getting money for something that maybe shouldn't.
Okay.
And maybe you misled somebody to get it. Consumers, choosing to shop is critically important today. We're going to be talking about a case study that was repaired here in Colorado, 20 minutes from this shop in Lakewood, Colorado.
Okay.
And this shop is not on a direct repair list or anything like that.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. It's not on.
It is not on.
It's a completely independent shop,
Yes.
the likes of which we say, if you are on that list, don't go there. So he's not on that list.
He's not on that list. Look, if you pick the wrong shop
Yeah.
and they're still on the DRP list, then the insurance company has to back it up. If you pick the wrong shop and they're not on the DRP list, it's all on you. And now you have to have legal fights and all the rest of this, and they're very difficult to even find an attorney that would take it on.
Gotcha.
Because there's just how much money in it.
So
in it.
all
So,
the more reason to know the shop and know the integrity, know their history of work and whatnot. And by the way, as we peel back the layers of this onion, which is rotten to the core, we have the history. We have the reviews. It didn't take 5 minutes.
It didn't take 5 minutes to know that that is not the place to go.
Okay.
So we're talking today about fraud and in-person inspections. And when we talk about in-person inspections, we're talking about an adjuster, insurance company adjuster, coming to the shop or to your home or whatever and actually looking at the damage.
As opposed to
Virtual, where we take pictures, or Allstate had this crazy thing at one point where they want you to take a video live on your phone, so it downloads software and all the rest of that. No. So virtual is they aren't here,
right.
and that can happen anywhere in the country.
And it's easy to say, or it's at least easy to imagine, that if you are taking virtual documentation of the damage to your vehicle, A, you could miss something. Photography is two-dimensional.
B, they will miss it.
They will miss it. And yeah, and there's so many things that could go wrong. Okay.
So we're looking at a Camry radiator support. Let's go with this picture.
Yeah.
And so this is the side extension off of the radiator support.
Yeah, that's driver's side.
And so on the top of the picture, and I know you'll do some fancy zooming in,
You know I will.
but I'm going to help us out and get a little closer right there.
Yeah.
This part that we're looking at, that the headlight is bolted to, you can see the bolts there.
Yep.
And then the fender bolts to a bracket that's on top of it, that's welded to it. This part, at the time this vehicle was repaired, was written to be replaced. Now the replacement cost is like $48 for the part and 1 hour labor to put it in. So an hour labor back then was $55. So $55 to put it in, and
45.
49, 48,
yeah.
something like that for the part itself.
Okay.
So
A Benjamin.
$100.
Yep.
They repaired this instead of replacing it.
Teacher? Did they repair it?
No, they attempted to repair it. They attempted to repair it.
Excuse me. You're being very kind. How hard did they attempt?
They did the execution was horrible. Execution was horrible. So as we look a little closer, you can see that the bracket that holds the fender is still all mangled.
Yep.
And you can see some horrific welding.
Yep.
And it's still bent over there by the fuse box cover, which also is broken. You can see the blue shining through there.
You're not supposed to see the blue shining through.
No, you're not. And that means water is going to go into the fuse box, which is never a good thing. Let's just take a look at it from a different angle. And you can see the paint's all cracking and peeling off. And
Oh, these are the welds that you're talking about there.
These are horrific welds.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's the least of it. That's a bad repair.
That's
Is it fraudulent? The paperwork says replace it. That's a repair. Consumers getting screwed if they don't know what the difference is.
Yeah.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. You've seen the repairs done to that last piece.
Yeah.
This is the left wheelhouse,
Driver's side.
driver's side.
Yeah.
And you can see, pretty much anybody can see, that has never been touched. It's factory.
It appears to be, yeah.
There's nothing touched. You can tell by the seam sealer, the lack of cracking paint, because if it was replaced, it would have been painted, and paint would be doing the same thing that other thing's doing.
See that last exhibit, yeah.
Yeah, and you can see the seam sealer across the back there. This part has never been replaced.
Right.
However,
What?
the shop submitted a supplement to the insurance company, presumably with photos. I mean, they don't,
That's how it's done.
yeah, they don't approve things without photos, to replace that piece. Now, this piece is about a $700 part and about 8 hours
Oh.
of labor.
All
So we're
right.
talking a little over, right around the $1,200 mark, somewhere around there,
Okay.
to replace this. That has not been replaced. So here is where the fraud starts to happen. If the insurance company paid to replace it up front and they didn't replace it and they repaired it, I don't necessarily know that that would be considered fraud, because the owner of the car can say, no, I'd rather just repair it. And that's their choice. They're the owner of the car.
Okay.
But instead, in this case, the shop submitted documentation to the insurance company that said it needed to be replaced, and the insurance company paid to replace it. And yet, the car was delivered, and that is not replaced.
In your professional opinion,
Mm-hmm.
does this piece require replacement?
I don't see anything wrong with it whatsoever. So now let's go to the in-person inspection
Yeah.
part of the title. So it's fraudulent auto insurance claims highlight the need for in-person inspections by insurance adjusters.
Right.
If the insurance adjuster walked in here and I told him that thing had to be replaced, he would grill me, or she, until I could convince them that needs to be replaced. But because it was done virtually, whoever the person on the other end said, oh, he needs to be replaced, then we'll pay to replace it. In person, that would not have gotten replaced. Or the insurance company would not have funded replacing it until they had some sort of other information saying it needed to be replaced.
Remember at the beginning of this when I said there are some things that come out of Rob's mouth that I could not have seen coming? Buckle up. Hey, Rob,
Yes.
tell me again, which wheel housing is that?
That is the left side or the driver's side.
Left side,
Mm-hmm.
driver's side.
Yes.
All right, well, that's...
The paperwork,
Yeah,
which I have right here, in the fender section where they have replaced the left fender,
yes.
and the wheel shield and some other stuff,
Left being the driver's side.
left being the driver's side,
Yeah.
right underneath there it says right apron assembly, HSS, high strength steel, and S next to it, meaning structural. It's a structural piece.
It's a structural part.
Yep. So,
Did you say right?
yes, the right side.
We're fixing everything else on the left side.
Yes. So that's the supplement one that was the result of him putting in a request to replace this.
To replace it.
Yes.
Calling for the wrong part.
Calling for the wrong part. Now, whether the insurance company put the wrong part on there or he put the wrong part on, I don't know that, because he wouldn't provide any of his own paper
We're just
to
following the
us or the
trail.
guest.
Yeah, we're just following the trail.
Yeah. So sub 2, it is on here as the right apron assembly.
That would be the passenger side,
That's the passenger side.
the unaffected side.
Sub 3 right side. So each one of these subs, the insurance company produced. Still the right side. Sub 4, right side. Then I call the insurance company because it comes in here because it's not repaired properly. And I go through the estimate and I say, that was not replaced. And here's another thing. Going back to substantiating the replacement of it. This car should have been set up on the frame machine and measured from the very beginning because the car is still crooked. It's so crooked that the radar in the front bumper keeps applying the emergency braking system while the guest is driving it because it doesn't know where it's going. There's a whole lot of things that would have been damaged before you got to that piece that aren't on the estimates at all. So I'm not so sure about the competency of whoever was at the insurance company handling all this.
Which is more crooked? The car, the repairer, or the insurer?
It's a love fest. It's a love fest. So I bring the guy down, or submitted a request for them to come down, review the repairs and the stuff that isn't on the estimate that should be on the estimate. They owe for at least that.
Yeah.
And they agreed to pay for a setup and measure. And the guy, the adjuster, took pictures of everything that I was showing him. Didn't say anything about the fact that that front radiator support extension obviously wasn't replaced, even though his paperwork says replace, because he should have updated his paperwork then with what he was viewing.
Right.
He takes pictures of the wheelhouse and he says, oh, there's the wrong side wheelhouse on that, and changes it to the correct wheelhouse that was still never replaced.
Never replaced and didn't require replacement. This is a cavalcade of errors that, if it weren't so serious, criminal, it would be comical.
Yeah, and now the question is, because it was not fixed by a direct repair for that insurance company, they want nothing to do with it.
The insurance company wants nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. They're not paying anything more. But if it were on their program, if the shop was on their program, they would have had to make things right for the guest. But because they're not, it's all on the guest now. And so we've been trying to work through finding ways to get the shop to get involved. Shop doesn't want anything to do with it. And is not returning any phone calls, letters, emails, notices from the Attorney General's office, notices from all sorts of different agencies. He's non-responsive.
This goes to the nature of the history of this particular shop. And we circle back to the need for you to know who you're dealing with. Know that they've got your best interests in mind, not their best interests. And there's a history of them not taking phone calls and even taking phone calls, putting them on hold, and then disconnecting. There's a history of all of these things going on where, one of our local channel news picked
it up.
An investigation on this guy and his shop. The Better Business Bureau was involved 4 years ago. They had an F rating on the Better Business Bureau. Today, they are unrated. They can't even qualify for the F. So
it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad for the guest. They had to go out and buy another car. Meanwhile, they're still paying on this one.
Yeah.
And it's been a problem, and we're continuing to use resources to see how we can help out.
Yeah.
But the fact that the insurance company that paid for all these repairs, A, can't see that they weren't done, and B, won't do anything about it.
That calls into question the caliber of the insurance company that you choose. And buyer beware, if they're wearing khaki, it could be a problem.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
this is just an interesting thing. By the way, I think we have a picture of the headlights. For those of you out there that think that aftermarket parts are just fine,
There
right,
it is.
there it is. You'll see the driver's side headlight is different than the passenger side headlight. The driver's side headlight was replaced with an aftermarket headlight, which is blue, has a blue hue to it.
Yes, it does.
The other side has a white hue to it, and it looks ridiculous. Who is it that keeps saying that the aftermarket parts are the same? They're not the same. There's a perfect example of it. Now, the insurance company in this particular case wrote a used headlight to go in there. And a used headlight, you would hope, would be a factory headlight just out of somebody else's car.
Right.
They decided to put an aftermarket in it because that's cheaper and they made more money. So this is a horrific story. There's so much wrong with this. I'm not even going to all the other things that are wrong with this thing. I
Right.
mean, you saw the car. It's an embarrassment to the industry.
It's unbelievable.
And the guest has just done so much research to try and get this thing resolved. We need to take that research and move it to the front.
Yeah.
Research the right insurance company to do business with. Research the right shop to do business with.
Yep.
And then you don't have to research how to unwind all that stuff.
Listen, folks, we've got all kinds of videos and blogs, resources for you. Put all that stuff in the description box below with certain things that'll give you the answers to those questions. You know, who are the better insurers? Who are the shops? What kind of questions do you need to ask the shops if you're going out looking for a shop that's got integrity? The things that you need to look at. Like I said, it took me less than 5 minutes to do a Google search on this particular shop, and I found criminal history and all kinds of investigations and horrible.
If you're going to get your car to a shop,
Yes.
you must
Yeah,
check them out.
yeah.
Make sure they're real.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Yep.
Stay tuned. Next week, we've got kind of a rotating list of things that we have seen in the post-repair inspection world that, wow, you're going to want to watch and make yourself aware of. Be sure to share this with your friends and family on the social outlets. We are grateful for it. If you haven't done it already, hit the thumbs up. We're thankful for that as well. Rob,
Happy Saturday to you.
happy Saturday.
My dear friends, happy Saturday to you. I hope you have an amazing week. See you next Saturday.